So my friends, this is my review on the BenQ TH690St. This is a short throw 1080p 4 LED and it's the first of its kind console gaming projector. Now yes, you did hear right, this is 1080p, but in this instance I just don't think that really matters. We'll take a look at picture quality and also all of the other features that are packed into this projector, and believe me, there are quite a number of them. Now, although this is classed as a gaming projector, it also does a great job with standard TV and also films, HDR movies and all of that. Now, do make sure you check the description box because there are offers on this at the moment and I'll keep that updated as time goes by. So the latest price links will be in the description. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. Okay, so here it is, and this, the TH690St, a short throw projector which is designed for gamers out there. And there's not many of those available, so for you gamers, this should prick up your ears. Okay, in the box as well as the projector, you get your cables, you get your information, and also a remote, which is pretty disappointing the fact that it's not backlit, but there are a couple of nice features to it. This is the machine itself, and I do have to say, it looks absolutely stunning. I absolutely love the front of it. It's simple yet elegant, and I think it really does look stylish and quite classy. The projector has 3 adjustable feet. The first one comes down in the middle and then you've got the 2 either side. With the front one you've got a quick release button as well, which again I think is a really good touch. And on the back you've got your usual connections, which include 2 HDMI 2.2 ports, an RS232 port and audio in and audio out, as well as optical audio. There's also buttons on the top as well, and these are physical buttons and again they work really well, so you can operate the full menu system from those controls. And as is usual with these type of projectors, a physical focus and a physical optical zoom dial. As I mentioned, the remote is not backlit, which I think is a real shame nowadays, but it does have a very good function where you can take it straight into game mode just with the press of a button, and you can access things like keystone correction as well as other picture modes, so I guess that's a bit of a bonus. This being a short throw projector means that you'll get a 100-inch image from just 4.9 feet away, or a 150-inch image from just 7.5 feet. Okay, we're at that stage now where we can get this thing fired up, and the first thing to point out is that there is no operating system built in. We'll start off in game mode, but I will show other modes later. The first thing that you get is a warning in game mode that if you are using keystone correction, then you're not going to get the optimum performance of the projector. And effectively what that means that if you're using this, which is the digital keystone 2D keystone correction, both vertical and horizontal, that will have an effect on input lag. And so in order for you to get the fastest response time, you're going to need to have this positioned in the most accurate position. So that's something which you do need to bear in mind. Otherwise, everything that you bought this projector for in terms of its latency is probably going to be thrown out the window if you're using keystone correction. If you're not too bothered about getting the fastest latency times, then you can use the keystone correction, and this does mean that you can position the projector off at an angle and still have a nice square screen. The rest of the menu system is all pretty standard. In game mode you get HDR10 and also HDR game mode, and you get all of the other things that you would expect and are very familiar by now on BenQ systems. As I mentioned, there's no operating system, so this is pretty much it. You do just need to then use your own device to get whatever content you want displayed. What I do like with the BenQ projectors is that they are very customizable. Going in and changing color settings and white balance is very easy to do, providing you've got the menu set to advanced mode, which is the first thing that I would do if I was you. Feature that I really liked in game mode is the room setting. Now, if you've got you set up in a real dark room, then you can have it set to dark, and this will give you truer colors, more cinematic visuals, and theatrical sound. And this is an auto setup. Now you can also use the details adjustment. Now this just gives you an extra peak of brightness. So if you're in first-person shooter type games where the screen is pretty dark, then this might be the way forward. So for instance in Outriders here, with details adjustment turned on, it will just lift the gamma, the contrast and fine-tune the brightness to hopefully enable you to see a little bit more detail in those darker scenes. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to stay as accurate as what it would be, but it's just giving you a better gameplay experience. Now, speaking of gameplay experience, the response time is just incredibly noticeable. This is by far the fastest projector in terms of movement and moving the controller and seeing the response that I've ever noticed. So when it comes to an actual reading, BenQ have measured the response time as low as 8.33 milliseconds for 1080p at 120Hz. And yes, you do get 120Hz at 1080p. And that's incredibly fast. You also get 16.67 milliseconds at 1080p at 60Hz, and 4K at 60Hz, then downscaled to 1080p, is also 16.67 milliseconds. Now, I have to say, I don't think I've known any other projector with a timing that low. And even if you're not a fan of game mode, I don't know why you wouldn't be, but you still get incredibly fast response times with game mode turned off. 33.34 milliseconds if you're downscaling 4K at 60Hz content. 1080p at 60Hz content is the same, 33.4 milliseconds. And also, you also get 16.67 milliseconds from 1080p at 120Hz. Now, you may be a little bit like me, where you don't really worry too much about input lag, but what I do have to say is that I'm not a competitive gamer, a professional gamer, but it made every single game I played feel that much better. It just was so much more responsive, more enjoyable, and overall just gave me a better feeling about whatever game it was. And so, even if you're not big into gaming, you'll love it. Now, what I can't promise, however, is that response time is going to improve how well you game. You'll just be as bad or as good as what you were originally. But definitely it will improve your experience, and I'm sure you'll love it more. Definitely for me, it was a real eye-opener, and it even may be something which I have to then carry forward into future gaming projectors, because it did make such a difference. Now, when I read the specs about the sound on this projector having two 5-watt speakers, I wasn't overly impressed. However, it does do an impressive job, and it definitely sounds better, and I'm going to give you an example of some music I recorded in just a moment. What I would say, however, still though, no matter how good the speakers are on this, it won't beat a standalone sound system, and so therefore, if you are going to be investing in this type of projector, spending this type of money, then I still recommend that you buy a standalone system. So the sound is powered by Trevolo, and this is what it sounds like.
Faster than the speed of light, we stretch time. Snare drum pack.
So I know it's quite difficult to get too much from that, but that was recorded using the same microphone that I'm talking on now from about a meter away. So I thought it sounded pretty good, and the overall experience was better than expected. This projector is 2300 lumens, and so therefore it does an adequate job in daylight. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst that I've seen. But in dark rooms, it definitely comes into its own. When it comes to watching just standard TV, whether that's an HD source or not, this does a great job. The colours are brilliant, they're vibrant, the picture is bright and crisp, and the image quality is sharp completely right across the whole screen. The one thing that I really love about BenQ projectors is the colour accuracy out of the box. This has been measured to 98% of the Rec 709 and 84% of the DCI-P3 colour gamuts, so you know that you're going to get a really good quality colour accurate image no matter really what you're watching. And we found that was the same when we looked at HDR content as well. It really was a feeling of a natural, crisp and clear image. It definitely wasn't oversaturated, and all of the detail was there. So this has been a really good experience, because I'd almost ruled out 1080p projectors probably until now, because the picture quality is just insanely good no matter what you put through it. So my friends, in summary, if you're looking for a big screen experience which really has got a focus on gaming, then this BenQ TH690St could definitely be the one for you. It is just a monster in the gaming market. Now, this will deliver a 60 to 180 inch image, and that will give it clear sharpness in that range. It will go as high as 300 inches, but you do start to lose some detail. And for that, and that gaming capability, as well as all the other things that this does well, the fact that it still does produce great TV quality and cable quality images and other HDR content and movies, well, this definitely has to be a choice of yours. But first and foremost, it's going to be for the gamers out there, because that latency, I can't express enough how impressed I was with it. That's my thoughts on this projector, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I do hope this video has been useful for you, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.